very, very excited to welcome Adrian from PedalBox Show to talk about biting off more than you can chew and learning more than you expected.
Basically, how to make mistakes in projects. I thought I knew a reasonable amount when I started doing car stuff. I'd already got a car that we built once before, but I had a lot of help from other people. I thought, as I say, I thought I knew a reasonable amount. And then we started thinking about doing something for YouTube, and we wanted something a bit more unique than just a car. I had my Mark II Golf. We were going to do an Audi A3, and we decided a much better idea would be to build a car from scratch. And I can tell you with 8 years experience that if you are starting out a YouTube channel, do not start with a car that doesn't already exist and is therefore unsearchable on the algorithm. Because we have had so much trouble trying to get traction with our videos because our car is not an Audi TT, nor is it a kit car, because no kit exists for this thing. It's at the moment, I think, 16 different vehicles shoehorned into a modified Caterham 7 type low-cost chassis, but looks nothing like a low-cost. It has a full body on it and a full-size windscreen. It's mid-engine, not front-engine. Everything about it is not a Caterham. And yeah, basically I bit off way more than I could chew when I started doing this, because I had grand ambitions of modifying the chassis and getting it on its wheels in a year, and then we'd get the engine in the following year, get it all running, and then we put a body on and we'd be done in between 3 and 4 years, IVA'd, and everything would be fine. We are 8.5 years into this project. We have nearly 200 episodes on this and other projects on the channel as well, and we've only just barely got it running on the key, and that is turning over. Not running properly, driving, anything else. We still need to make new drive shafts because we only have temporary ones in at the moment for test fitting. We need to fix various engine mount problems where it's interfacing with the frame. Yeah. 8.5 years. I'd love to think it would be finished this year, but I've said that for the past 3 years running. So yeah, when biting off more than you can chew, I think the main thing is be very realistic about what you can do, and then whatever you think you can do, probably cut it in half as what you actually can knowingly do, because I've reached the point where I've learned so much more stuff that I don't want to know anymore. I know more about VW Audi wiring diagrams than I ever wished to and ever want to, and as I say, I wish I could forget it. But we've had to learn auto electrics, which is one of my least favourite things to do on cars because it's such a nightmare. And we've stripped out 50% of the loom, and I think with the stuff that you do, it's very much all kind of within your wheelhouse, and you know what you're doing, and
No.
it at least looks like Ian knows what he's doing when he's tinkering with things.
Then.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
fake it till you make it, and that's basically what we've been doing. We've gone through and tried to work out as much as we can, reached a roadblock, stopped, asked the community sort of through the videos, hey, why is this doing this? How do we do this? What would you do instead? And yeah, we've just kind of made as much progress as we can, as and when. But working outdoors on a driveway, not in a garage, you are at the behold of the English weather, so you can't do much. If it's raining and tipping down, you can have all the free time you want. But if you're working on something, if you're welding, if it's windy even, you can't. Or you have to try and rig something up to deflect around it, and then if it's windy, it's going to hit you. And just everything you want and think that you can do in a reasonable time frame, as soon as you're outdoors, isn't. It's not reasonable. It is 100% a gamble. And if you go, I'm going to work on it that weekend, because the guy that does PedalBox with me, Chris, now lives in deepest, darkest Wales, even further, deeper, darker than you guys. He's at the corner of Pembrokeshire.
Oh, crikey. Yeah.
So he comes all the way back to Reading once a month, so we can really hit it hard on a weekend. And that means looking at the weather forecast fastidiously to work out what it's going to do, and then try and time it so that the right weekend comes with the right weather. And from October through to February, that is a crapshoot. So yeah, I don't know how many of you've got projects where you found that you've suddenly had to learn something you never intended to, or is so far outside your comfort zone. But I didn't know how to weld before I started this project. I didn't know any auto electronics. I didn't know how to do suspension design or geometry or anything of that nature. Unfortunately, there is an online calculator which we found, which you can kind of build the virtual suspension and then send it through its movements, and that was fantastic to get us in the ballpark. And we still need to go back and test it all and actually see how this car's going to actually drive, because we don't know how it's going to handle, because nobody's butchered a frame like we have before. So it's a little bit concerning how it's actually going to drive. Is it going to be drivable? Is it going to try and throw us into a tree as soon as we try and go around a corner? What is it going to do? Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Really undersells it. It really undersells it quite a long way. I don't know how you found sort of when you've come up on here's a brand new problem we never thought we would have to deal with, and what your process is going through to try and sort it as well.
Well, I quite like process, but the certain person that I work with, not so much. I will always, generally there will be somebody, not in your case apparently, but generally there will be somebody on the internet who has encountered a similar problem and might have made a video or written an instructional guide. So usually you can find something, and if you see me and I look like I know what I'm doing, it's because I've researched it on the internet from other people. I've got a big question, and that is why? Where did this vision come from?
So we started out, as I say, I had my Mark II Golf with a VR6 Corrado engine, and we thought, well, it's finished. It's not finished, they never are. But it would be nice to start the channel with something else as a fresh project and kind of run through that. And we got an absurdly cheap Audi A3, 1.8 T-Sport Quattro for £150, running, driving with 9 months MOT. It's fantastic. I actually taught my other half to learn to drive in it, which 180 horsepower to learn to drive is a hoot.
Respect. Massive respect.
So that was great fun, and we were going to use that, and we were going to do a series on, here is a nice average car that you can daily drive and turn into a bit of a track toy, and what is the process of doing that. And in the process of starting to record that video, this never finished chassis turned up on eBay for £250 with a box of assorted parts that didn't match. There was a mix of Metro and Mini parts, and it was normally one of each. So it was a Metro hub and a Mini hub, a Metro arm and the same Mini arm, so it wasn't even left and right. And we thought, that would be much more funny. That would be way more interesting. Let's do the wacky thing. Don't do the wacky thing. Not to start out with. Do it later. Do it way later down the channel life. The wacky thing is far too difficult to deal with. We picked it up. We bought it at night. Drove across to, I think it was East Anglia somewhere. So we drove 2.5 hours with a trailer, put a whole sort of complete kit car frame on the back of a 5-foot trailer, loaded the boxes in the boot of the car, and got back at 3 o'clock in the morning. Chris then went to work the next day. I woke up bleary-eyed and started looking at what the hell we'd just bought. And we kind of started from there. And then it was, well, what engine do we put in it? And we went through all the usual ones. We did an episode on this right at the beginning. What 4-pots do we put a Pinto in it? Do we put a Z-Tech in it? Something like that. But if we're going to do something more interesting, what else could we choose? We could do a BMW 6-cylinder. We could do a Rover V8. We could do an LS, like an LS400, all aluminium V8, which would be great. And then at some point, Chris said, hey, why don't we just take the transaxle out of the A3 and just put it in the back? And I went, sure, all right, that sounds like a dumb idea. So we built some chassis rails out. Fortunately, we had the A3 on the drive. We could measure it up. And the outside diameter of the frame at the back of a Caterham is exactly the same width as the outside of the chassis rails and the engine mounts of an Audi A3, like a Mark IV Golf platform. So it was pretty much sold from there. So we cut some holes in it, added some box section, hung the engine off the back and started going at it. And yeah, the enormity of it just kind of grew as oh God, we have to do this now. Like, this all works too perfectly. But yeah, it was very much, it started out as a wouldn't it be wacky if, and then developed into a what's convenient, and what was convenient at the start is a nightmare now. So that's it's been a very much an evolving process of trying to work things out and redoing things that we thought we had sussed. The first time we built the rear suspension geometry, we realised that what we'd actually done was put so many heim joints in that there was no possible way to set any caster, any angle, any toe, and the whole thing just moved around in all 3 dimensions. So we had to go back and re-engineer that to actually get a fixed point we could work with. So, and that kind of shows that we don't know what we're doing. We're idiots with a welder on a driveway. But if you take it one step at a time, you can do an awful lot and you can learn as you go. If anything, what our channel has proven is that you don't need to know everything at the start, but you should definitely be prepared to learn a lot. And that's the sort of the really big thing. We're aware of at least 2 other people who've gone, well, if those guys can do it, and they've built something and just bought a welder and started gluing metal together, which is great. I'm really pleased. If nothing else, we've inspired 2 people to do dumb things, and that's fine.
No,
So, yeah.
I think that's brilliant, and I love the vision, I love the enthusiasm, I love that you're learning new things. So, if this is Rustival 4,
Yes.
what Rustival do you think this car's coming to?
When's 5?
You might find out later today.
Ooh, okay. If 5 is this year,
Exclusive.
no. If 5 is next year, maybe it might end up coming on a trailer. If it's to other events this year, there's an event in Reading, which is not far from where we live. The event is not far from where we live in Reading, that we trailer the car to each year. And we have people come back year after year when we go to this. It's the Prospect Park Car Show. And they go, is it running yet? Is it running yet? Is it running yet? And we're like, no. Hopefully for this one, which is the first weekend of July, we might have it running by then. It is closer than it's ever been. There's an episode coming out soon where we actually turn it over on the key, and the starter cranks. It doesn't run because it's got no fuel attached to it or anything else, but it turns over on the key, and that is an enormous win. So yeah, that was quite monumental. And I've been putting that off so that Chris could be there as well, because I felt bad robbing him of that satisfaction after 8 years of doing it, to just steal that out. So yeah, hopefully it will be here, let's say next year, because I've said next year every single time.
So, I mean, that's a good point. Obviously, comments bring pressure, and I'm sure you hear it all the time. When's it going to be ready? When's
Yeah.
it's going? How do you deal with that in your?
I just tell him next year. Just like that. Yeah, that's the easiest way to do it. And like, obviously the people who follow it on the channel can very much see the progress and see the setbacks. We had one recently where we went through and we had all the wiring done and we turned the lights on and nothing worked the way we thought it would. So we went back and we ripped all of the wiring out to the rear lights and found a couple of problems. We put it all back together again and we're like, we've got the ECU now, it's been deimmobilized, we can put that in, let's put everything back together. We put the headlight switch in and it didn't work. So we got derailed doing that. And then the episode we put out last week, we put the new headlight switch in and everything went wrong. You put the headlights on and the full beam indicator comes on the dash. Both indicator lights came on the dash, but only one indicator came on permanently on the headlights. No headlights came on, all of the other lights turned off, and the windscreen wipers started going. How does that happen? So that set us back again, going, well, now we've got to work out what's wrong with this and try and understand what we've done, because this was all working when we tested each individual system, and we basically did that to make sure we didn't short circuit it and just melt it into the ground like a China syndrome. And it was fine, and now suddenly the switch goes in and it's dead. So we were pretty certain it was an earth problem, and we tried fixing the earth, which fixed it, and then breaking the earth, which didn't break it. So it didn't actually cause the problem, but we ticked something else off the list. And this is it. We've got a whiteboard with a load of things on, just crossing them off as what is the minimum viable product we can use to get it to the IVA. And then we can deal with the other stuff. And we fill in other bits and pieces that aren't directly IVA related. But every time it's just, oh, well, we've done this and this and this and this. But folks who've come to the car show year after year, it just looks the same as it did 2 years ago and last year as well. Because it's got a coat of paint on it, albeit it's fairly badly painted, just to stop the metal underneath rusting and to sort of keep it good enough. But yeah, it's a lot of, we've done a thing. You're gonna have to do that again. Yeah, we are. So it's, and I guess you probably have the same when you think you fixed something and then it goes wrong again, or you find another problem midway down through you start investigating a problem, and there's, you know, the old adage in programming, 99 little bugs on the wall. You take one down, you patch it around, 120 bugs on the wall. And it's very much the same. We find new problems every time we fix something else. But the list is starting to diminish now. We've had the explosion of lots of things, and we're just knocking them off very, very gradually.
I think that's brilliant. Thank you ever so much, Adrian. Thank
that's all right.
And you can't miss the Rodius. It's just over there. Silver Rodius.
Whether you want to or not.
And you can see the mobile studio. Flipping heck, mobile studio and everything. Amazing.
Come and have a look, and we'll give you the tour.
Awesome.
But yeah, thanks everybody for coming down. Thanks for listening to me babble on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers.
Awesome. Thank you.
You can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks to everybody I met while I was at the show who subscribed to the channel as well. Thank you so much. It really does support everything. If you're watching this video the week after it came out, I hope you had a fantastic time here. You can also be a patron of the channel as well at patreon.com/PedalBox Show, and you can buy merch like I'm wearing right here at shop.pedalbox show as well. And if you are a patron, you'll get a discount at the merch shop too. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.